Kia ora. It seems like ages since I put together both a layout and a process video, but today I'm going to be using the Jingle Joy Papers and sticker sheet collection along with the Picture My Life cards, and I'm going to be documenting a couple of selfies, if you can say that when there's two people in the picture, using this collection. So I've just printed those photos on my selfie, and I printed them so that there are 4 photos on the one 4x6. So they're quite little, but I quite like the way that looks when it comes together on a page. So I have chosen 2 of the pieces of pattern paper from this collection. And I'm going to be using the zip strips as well. So I'm just trimming these down, and I'm actually going to stick them together to just create a bit more interest in my background. So here, using the Versamat, I'm able to line up the page using the measurements on it so that I know it's a proper 12 by 12 shape without wasting part of the paper that I'd be sticking this onto. So here, just lining that up as best I can to adhere down using that centre point. So when I trimmed that first piece down to 6 inches, it was so that the edge of the zip strip would be right there. And I'm also going to use the zip strip from the other paper, and I'm just attaching that right beside there, as you can see. And I'm just going to sort of wrinkle up the edges a little bit, just to roughen it up, rather than it being this perfectly flat piece. So there, just cleaning that out or messying that up a little bit, and then you just got a bit of a glimpse of what it looks like on the back. So now I'm going to be putting these photos reasonably central to the layout, but I'm going to be tucking in behind quite a few of the Picture My Life cards, and I'll also trim down some of the pattern paper as part of a photo mat. So I went through the Picture My Life cards to choose ones that I felt suited this page. And although this collection is sort of a modern Christmas collection, I have purposefully scrapbooked some pages, some photos here that are not Christmas. However, as it's myself and my husband, the under the mistletoe saying I felt just fitted okay with this, just sort of hanging out together. Perhaps it would have been better if it was a photo of a kiss, but then again, maybe not in a scrapbook page. Anyway, so the hearts that you can see there are some of the gorgeous embellishments that come with this collection. I'm just showing you here a picture of the typewriter because I'm going to type on that Picture My Life card, and you can see that I've done that there. So that typewriter is part of Rewards Your Way that you can, that makers are able to access, and it's very cool. It's currently kept in our lounge on a china cabinet, and every now and then people just go and type something. I just keep a piece of 12 by 12 white daisy in there, and just the odd little message or things that people have typed is quite cool. Anyway, I have matted both of these photos with some white daisy cardstock, and I'm going to use the side that I haven't used in the background from these pattern papers to create another layer that I'll have behind the photographs as well. So you won't even know that there's Christmas trees there. There'll just be hints of that colour coming through behind the photograph. So we've kind of got the bones, I guess, of the layout set out, and there's a couple of strips on this Picture My Life card, and I'm going to stamp on it. And the stamp set I'm using here is from a set called Feeling Grateful, but it's one of the exclusive sets available in the Feeling Grateful album kit. So while you can, if you're keen on this stamp set, you do need to get the whole kit. It is a very cool kit. It comes with the album, some papers, and there'll be an online workshop coming up soon where you can create along with that. So the stamp I'm using here, and I'm trimming it down, which could seem a little bit scary, but I didn't want the next part in that saying, so it just says, I've trimmed it so that one says Trust in the Lord, and it's from the Trust in the Lord stamp set. So I have done that. It's still completely usable together, but I was able to use it separately without having to blank out or sort of mask parts of it. And I can see myself using it again in that way. So just again repositioning the papers so that they sit the way I sort of will stick them down, and making sure that that journaling sort of peeks up through there with the little line coming down. So I'm using the Tombow tape runner here to attach the pieces down. Nice and fast way of adhering paper and these cards to other pieces of paper. So I'm sticking down the Picture My Life cards that aren't really part of the photo mat as such first. And then I will stick the photos onto the mats, and I'm arranging them so that they're not beautifully lined up, so there's a little bit of an angle on each rather than being sort of perfectly positioned photos. And this fits quite well because the photos of my husband and myself aren't completely straight up. They're sort of on a bit of an angle in the photo as well as the way it's positioned on the page. So just choosing the placement there as I go to stick them down. And I'm also going to use the same tape runner to stick down these sort of chipboard hearts. The hearts have got a tag hole in them, so you could remove that and turn it into a tag that's attached to the page. However, I decided that I wanted to leave the pieces in, and in the whole scheme of things you don't really notice that. Here I'm using the Marquee alphabet set, and I'm going to be using the White Daisy pigment ink, and I'm stamping the letter U and the letter S onto some black cardstock. And this is to create the title for this page. And I forgot here that the pigment ink does, if it's not completely dry, it does smudge easily. So I did end up redoing the S after this, but that's okay. With stamps and cardstock and inks, you have the ability to redo things to suit. So I fussy cut around those letters as well, and looked at how they would position on the page, and then using some 3D foam tape I stuck them down. And so the U was actually pretty dry, it was pretty good. However, when I went to do this to the S, it actually smudged quite a bit. So I ended up re-stamping and redoing the S, and then fussy cutting around that before sticking them both down onto the page. So here I'm peeling off the 3D tape backing and sticking it onto the page. I think I've used this letter set quite a bit since they came out. It's quite a nice universal, but it's got a little bit of fun in it. So here's the sticker sheet that comes with the Jingle Joy collection if you choose to get it with the sticker sheet. And I'm just using some of the extra pieces of mistletoe on that left side there to create a balance with the mistletoe card that's on the right. And I also pulled out these little green hearts and positioned them there fairly centrally to the layout. So now I'm at a point where it's pretty much, it could be finished, but I decided I need a little bit more interest, a bit more detail in there. So I went through and had a look at some of our embellishments as well as grabbing the liquid pearls out. So here I'm using the spring blossom or the springtime flower sequins, and then I also use some of the blue belle glitter gems on this page. So just choosing them and randomly sticking them down at places where it adds interest or will draw your eye into that aspect of the page. So here the blue belle, the smaller gems that I've used here rather than the bigger ones. I didn't want these to sort of overpower page, but just to add interest. So I'm also going to use some of the liquid pearls. Now, I've got reasonably confident using these, and they do look like beautiful gems almost once they're dry. It is important to give these a good amount of uninterrupted time to dry, so I wouldn't go sticking them in your album even within an hour of doing them. Because I've already got my photos and things on the page, a heat gun's not the best option here. So they will be sort of put in this page will be put in a place where my cats are unable to jump on it, or where nothing's going to get put on top of it, at least till later today, if not tomorrow, if I can leave it that long. So you'll see some more close-up shots of these liquid pearl dots in a little bit when I share some photos of these. So again, I'm just placing them where I feel it looks aesthetically pleasing, and there we have the page ready for drying. So you can see there the wee gems just sort of tucked in with the flowers, not the gems, the liquid pearls I should say, and how nicely they just sort of sit and finish off the page. And all those layers there just add some more interest to it. Another option with those layers would be to sort of rough up the edges like I did with the centre. And there is that fun typewriting on the journaling card. Thanks for watching.